I'm Joseph Dillard. Welcome to the Integral Deep Listening video curricula. IDL notes that you cannot observe what you are not aware of. Therefore, a thorough investigation of breath and breathing will increase your awareness of it and the quality of your observation of your breath during meditation. In this context, Integral Deep Listening Pranayama provides tools for developing your discrimination and awareness of your breath, which in turn increases your powers of observation. You will hear some people say, "Shouldn't I just follow my breath? Isn't it a mistake to control it?" The majority of Hindu approaches to pranayama emphasize breath control. There are other schools of thought and practice, like most Buddhist and Buddhist-derived approaches, that teach vipassana or mindfulness or Zen meditation, that emphasize simple observation of breath without control. This is why there is no strong Buddhist tradition of pranayama as a yoga. There are good arguments for both approaches. If you learn to observe your breath in specific ways and enhance the way you breathe, you will have powerful tools of self-observation and self-transcendence that you did not have before. From then on, you have a freedom to use them or not to use them, as you desire. You do not have this option, this freedom, if you do not learn both discrimination and control. It could even be argued that the Buddha only had the ability to observe his breath in a way that allowed him to attain enlightenment because he had a background of yogic meditative practices that probably included pranayama. According to the Taimni, how the yogic pranayama involves manipulation of pranic currents through breath regulation to control chitta-vritti and changes in consciousness, whereas Raj Yoga pranayama involves the control of chitta-vritti by consciousness directly through the will of the mind. In the Bhagavad Gita, pranayama is mentioned in verse 4.29 as, quote, trance induced by stopping all breathing. You can see that this approach to pranayama is very much about control. IDL is not interested in inducing trance states because it views states as inherently temporary and in no way correlated with your stage of development. Psychic abilities and near-death experiences, mystical experiences, for example, are not indicative of higher developmental levels, only of powerful or expanded temporary states. However, for those who do want to induce trance states, pranayama is undoubtedly an effective way of doing so. For example, this is the primary means Stanislav Grof used in his psychotherapeutic and transpersonal breath work. Traditional yogic pranayama employs a number of sophisticated practices designed to direct, control, deepen, and stop the breath. These involve the psychospiritual physiology of nadis, or subtle energy channels of the body, and chakras, or vibrational and karmic energy centers in the body. Also, it involves alternative nostril breathing, called ujjayi breathing, rapid diaphragmatic breathing, breathing ratios, breath holding, and bandhas, or energy locks. These are undertaken, for example, in Kundalini Yoga, to prepare the body, nervous system, and mind to handle the energy of Kundalini rising. Advanced breathing practices in traditional pranayama require the preliminary purification and strengthening of the nadis through the practice of various kriyas, or cleansing practices. Purification is a major priority for many forms of classical yoga, based on the assumption that purification is a prerequisite for maintenance of expanded consciousness. IDL agrees that the reduction of physical, emotional, and mental filters of all sorts is essential for the development of clear perception and awareness. However, balance is required. An emphasis on purity and purification can make a religion out of purity and generate all sorts of cult rituals based on scriptural beliefs that are largely meaningless when taken out of their socio-cultural context. Ayurveda and Tibetan Buddhism, as practiced in the West, provide many examples. Alternate nostril breathing is another commonly recommended pranayama practice. I learned about it from the Edgar Cayce readings and practiced it first in 1963 when I was 13. It is called Nadi Shuddhi in Sanskrit. The fingers and thumb of the right hand are used to close off first one nostril and then the other. Alternate nostril breathing starts with an exhalation and an inhalation through the left nostril, followed by a full breath through the right, with the whole pattern repeated several times. Kundalini Yoga uses alternate nostril breathing as a method to cleanse the nadis, or subtle channels and pathways, to help awaken Kundalini energy. Ashtanga Yoga teaches IDL Pranayama, or victorious breath, during asanas to keep the mind focused. By returning again and again to the subtle sound of breath, the mind is forced to concentrate and become quiet. Students of Ashtanga practice Ujjayi breathing while adding a pause at the end of the exhalation. That's a pattern called Bhaya Kumbhaka. Then they reverse that pattern and pause at the end of the inhalation, a pattern called Antara Kumbhaka, Kapal Abhati, or rapid diaphragmatic breathing. And that consists of multiple rounds of rapid breathing in which the breath is forcefully expelled from the lungs with a strong inward thrust of the abdomen. Students might start out with one round of 15 breaths in quick succession and build up to several hundred breaths in one round. An important element of Kundalini Yoga is the breath of fire, a rapid diaphragmatic breath similar to what is called Kapalabhati in other traditions. One teacher of Kundalini gives these instructions: open your mouth and pant like a dog, or pretend you're a St. Bernard in the Mojave Desert. Some types of pranayama incorporate specific breathing ratios, such as inhaling for a count of 10 while exhaling for a count of 20. It is common to recommend that exhalation be twice as long as inhalation. Stopping the breath, known as kumbhaka, or retention, is important for integral and Kundalini yogas because it is believed that, quote, it super injects prana into the system and builds up tremendous vitality. The halt after inhaling, paraka, is called abhyantara kumbhaka. After exhaling, that is rishaka, it is called bhaya kumbhaka. Two more types of kumbhaka are mentioned. Iyengar Yoga teaches and encourages the use of viloma, or stop-action breathing, in which a number of pauses are interspersed into the breath, first during exhalation, then during the inhalation, and finally during both. The purpose is to teach students how to direct the breath into specific areas of the chest, ensuring that the entire rib cage is fully activated while breathing deeply. It is believed that viloma allows you to work on a piece of the breath at a time, and it also allows you to be more subtle in terms of placement, developing steadiness, control, and inwardness. Traditional pranayamas often teach the use of 3 energy locks. Mula Bandha is the root lock. Uddiyana Bandha is the abdominal lock. And Jalandhara Bandha is the chin lock. With the Mula Bandha, while breathing, the pelvic floor and the belly are gently drawn inward and upward so that the breath is directed into the upper chest. It uses the same muscles that are commonly used in cutting off the flow of urine from the bladder. The Mula Bandha is meant to assist in breath holding as well as maintaining certain types of spinal alignments. In Kundalini Yoga, the application of bandhas aid to release, direct, and control the flow of Kundalini energy from the lower centers to the higher energetic centers. As you can see, both observation and control of breath can be rather sophisticated. There is much more to breathing than most of us have ever contemplated. In the next video, we'll discuss variable and cyclic breath order. The entire video curricula can be found at integraldeeplistening.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.